Hello, here's my vlog. It is 8:27 in the morning, October 6th. On Sunday, last night it got dark and I went in bed not long after that. And yeah, I probably should have gone to sleep, but I was kind of felt like I was gonna have insomnia, so I watched a silly movie called Two Guns on Netflix, and then went to sleep not so long after that. But anyway, I had my first dreams that I remember. Yeah, it was in some kind of like a Fast and Furious movie. Like we were in a race across with a couple of friends who seemed real in the movie, but they didn't exist in real life. Those are always fun. Because sometimes you have dreams of like actors you saw in a movie the night before, or something like that. Usually has to do with the theme. Last night I was, like the last video I saw before I went to sleep, I was watching TV and I got done with the movie. I went to YouTube and I just said Boulder, Colorado, see if there was anything. And I saw a video of this dude paragliding. He was paragliding for like 7 minutes or something. That was cool. I got to see where he took off from and land in the park up there and Wonderland Lake area. And yeah, so then I had a dream that part of the dream, it was like car racing around, but at one point, I think I was paragliding, or I was doing some kind of floating. I was paragliding over some town, and then I turned around to land in a building, and it just so happened to be my room, like the room I was staying in. And then at one point, oh yeah, and then another video I saw, yeah, these all have to do with videos I saw right before I went to sleep, of somebody in a Bugatti Veyron going like 227 miles an hour on the Autobahn. It was like a recreation of that. I was in like a van, and they were going really fast down a hill, but like really fast. It looked just like going 200 miles an hour, like way too fast, like you're just about to crash. And yeah, I was on the bottom of the truck looking forward, like, oh my god, we're going fast, I'm gonna crash. And then at one point we stopped at some like place and hiding from people, because the movie I saw last night, Two Guns, they were hiding from people and running from people. Yeah, if you ever wonder why you have dreams where you're hiding and running from people all the time, it's because you probably saw a movie where somebody was hiding and running from somebody that night. But anyways, that's all I remember. It was fun, man. I love having dreams like that. It's like a separate life. And I'm finally getting those now that I'm not smoking as much weed. I had a lot of lost my train of thought. I've been smoking a lot of weed, so I can't remember my dreams. And day before yesterday, I had a bunch of marijuana cookies, which like blew out my brain. Like, damn, I need to. I need to not smoke weed. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I slept enough yesterday. It's because I don't exercise. I need to exercise. Yesterday was another non-exercise day, and tomorrow might be either, because I have to do my goddamn taxes, which is gonna be a absolute nightmare. It's the first time you get to do them with the IRS, though, directly, so at least you can maybe trust that it's done right this time. Because I think I have to fix them from last year. They were never done right in last year because of TurboTax. So, yeah, I got up and I was like cleaning, and then I got that like pull-up bar. I tried to put up the pull-up bar, and so I had to go to the store 3 times, the hardware store. I had to go in there once to get the drill, because I needed a metal drill, or no, I needed a drill that would fit. I didn't even have a drill that fits. So I went to get the drill that fits. I came back. Turns out that it's metal. It's not wood. So I went back for the metal drill. So I drilled that in, and then it was just sheet metal. It wasn't strong enough to just drill in. It was just falling out. So I went back the 3rd time to get screwed. Wow. I don't know if I've ever yawned this much. I went back to get screws, and maybe I should just sit here and like fucking yawn for like a half hour before I do a video. I could make a coffee, but I always I always overdo the coffees. And then it makes me sick. That's kind of one thing that made me feel kind of icky yesterday. I had too many coffees. But yeah, I went and got the screws that go through the entire doorway. And so, with washers. And yeah, I tested it. And I could feel it was kind of bending it back some, but it looks like it'll work. I'm like 180 pounds, so I'll lose weight. But I mean, I don't think I can even do a pull-up. I can only hang for like 5 seconds before I have to let go. I bought grip tape for that, so my hands don't peel off of it. But yeah, I'm weak. I can't do like a pull-up. There's no muscle on the side. So yeah, but after I went to the store, my mom called me and wanted me to, like right when I was still in the car, to go to her house and, yeah, do the final touches of throwing things away, putting things up in the attic, putting things in the house, in the other closet, moving things around, organizing stuff. And then we parked her car in there for the very first time since she's had it. She's had that place for like since '93, and that was the very first time she ever put a car in. Because as soon as she bought it, she just filled it up like it's some kind of a storage unit. Yeah, and every time I visited her, I would fill up. I would just throw stuff away and organize stuff and throw boxes away, because she would always like just randomly throw things in boxes and then throw those boxes in other boxes. And so it was just all this trash and stuff not consolidated and just a disaster. So I'd come, and I remember filling up the entire like giant trash cans like every time I go there. I'd like fill them all the way to the top, you know, and even like get in trouble with homeowners for hanging out there too much. And at one point somebody complained, thought somebody was living back there because I was out there so much, and maybe complaining, I think, that they were filling up the trash can. And then of course causing huge problems with her and my brothers. At one point she was punching me as hard as she could once, trying to make me stop moving stuff in the basement. Ay, ay, ay. So yeah, like this is big. But then I came back and, yeah, I didn't do any stretching because it was already dark. It got dark like right after I got back because I was trying to fix that. And, yeah, and then I got in bed not long after that. So, I try to get up like right when it gets light. It was light like an hour or two ago, or hour ago or whatever. But yeah, and I usually do wake up when it gets light, but that's actually like the only time of day when I'm really relaxed. So that's why it's 8:30, and this is when I'm first kind of up and out. So that's 8:30 is about as early as I can get moving. So, but if I manage to like actually exercise the entire day without going to my mom's house the whole day, like moving things around. I did get some back workout though. Yesterday my back was sore. My whole muscle was sore. Like I lifted weights. And I think it was from sitting in this chair over at her house for a couple days, day before yesterday, going through papers. So she's going to help me tomorrow by coming over here and being next to me while I'm on the phone with the IRS and going through all my papers, because this is going to be a major... They say I owe them $27,000. I mean, $2,700, $2,700 from last year. But I paid my taxes. They do this every year to me. Back in 2011, they told me I'd never paid my taxes, like any of them, in 2008, like 3 years beforehand, and I had to come up with all my taxes proof for that year, for 3 years beforehand, in this huge stack. This is when I lived in my van, and I had to send them to Ogden, Utah, but then it turns out, oops, that was the wrong spot. So then I had to send them to Cincinnati, and then oops, that was the wrong spot. So I had to send them to Fresno, California. So now I know where all the IRS centers are in America. And then it just continues every year. So that's why it kind of pisses me off when people go, oh man, the IA, artificial intelligence is going to take over the world. It's like, God damn it, they can't even do our taxes right. Don't worry about AI until they can at least do our taxes one year. So anyways, I tested my fat the other day at and I'll maybe do it today. I'll try to record it every day at 32.4%, but I'm not trying to. Yeah, and there's videos. I think I actually watch all the videos I can find getting from 30% fat down to single digits or whatever, because that seems to be like an average starting point. Like if you're out of shape, you're at 30%. I'll see what other people have to say, but yeah, I'm not really concerned about losing weight. In general, I'm not concerned about, I don't worry about fat percentages, because I'm an endurance athlete, and so I could burn it away. But you know, having extra blubber on you, if you're out of shape, it's good, because you know, your whole body's out of shape, and so your stomach is not able to process calories either. You know, your stomach's out of shape too. So you need all the energy that you can get, and having a layer of blubber on you will help you with that energy some. So, you know, and it's not like you're in a race, so it's not like all that extra weight. And plus, carrying extra weight, it's extra weight, so it's like makes you stronger anyway, right? So, what concerns me now is the stretching. I was actually, while I was watching the movie, I was stretching my hips, you know, just, yeah, even when I'm limber, and I've gotten a lot limber, but my meniscus is still torn. I can still feel it, my whole knee hurting. When I sat down, like 6 months happened, but I was also putting my like shoulder behind my back and doing like this, and like so much that it got sore and didn't want to stretch anymore. So I got a foot massager, and it said you're supposed to only use it for half hour a day. And so yeah, maybe that's the same thing. Like maybe you wouldn't want to stretch like a single muscle that's really sore anyway, more than a half hour a day. But so anyway, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, the only thing I care about is getting back in shape, because I got so out of shape. Getting my website so ahead. My website is kind of like a collection of stuff that doesn't exist anywhere else but needs to exist. So I managed to kind of build each and every section of it. Kind of to get the ball rolling, so where it's like most of the way through and you can see that it'll be where it's going, but not quite finish it, with like all these different things. So I could pick it up, I could pick stuff up and kind of like carry it through without that much work in each section and make a bunch of YouTube videos. Yeah, so I have peace of mind, you know, as long as I don't run out of money. Yeah, so to just exercise all day long. So I'm not in a rush till I get in super shape. Like, I'm not trying to ride my bike 100 miles a day or anything. I'm trying to do stuff one at a time. So I haven't had a day where I have stretched all day long. So I want to do a day where I'm stretching all day long. I haven't done a day where I'm either stretching or lifting weights all day long. So, you know, if I get bored with the stretching today, like, I'll just go until it gets dark. If I get, because I set up my apartment to be that way, to be a place where I can just hang out all day long. Oh man, I just got a pain in my lower back and my butt coccyx from sitting here. Yeah, and so if I stretch all day long today, that means tomorrow I would stretch / lift weights all day long. Day after that, I would stretch / I would maybe lift weights / stretch all day long, you know, and then a day after that, I would ride my bike in here for the first time all day long. And just all this stuff the first time all day long, sort of a deal. You know, you can get in shape and be in shape if you started when you're really young. You were an athlete since you were young because you had parents who allowed you to do that. I had an alcoholic for a father, and I didn't realize at the time how destructive that was. They had my brothers and I go to AA meetings when he quit in '87. But yeah, he forced me to stop racing bikes when I was 14 because of a knee. They said I had a knee problem when I was 13. But then I was forced to stop again when I was 17 because there's no money. And it's like, that's not what it's even about. So that's kind of, you know, when you try to fix the world, you should focus on the problems that you have and just fix those problems. And so, yeah, I'm just going to focus on that. Like, change the world where you don't have to have parents that force you to stop being an athlete out of fear that there's no money. Because there was money to ride a bike, you know. You could, if you don't want to be I wanted to do it, try to keep being like a mountain bike racer, you know, and that would have led into other things. And what I should have told my father, because he was trying to convince me all summer long, and then he finally demanded, like he was going to kick me out of the house or something. And what I should have told him, and I was telling him about all year, but what I should have told him that time, because I was like, I kind of finally backed out. And then he got me, and then he hooked me up with a volunteering for a whole month in Wyoming as a campground host, where I had to just sit in a tent, because he said that would give me a letter of recommendation for a crappy college that I already got into. He was like retarded. He was born in 1928, but he was also fucking retarded. What I should have told him was, and I think I did tell him, but what I should have insisted was, look, I'll be a bike rider, and then maybe I'll do a race once a year if there's anything here in town where I don't have to travel. But I can at least call myself a bike racer, even though I'm not going to any other town. You know, and that's when he would have said, oh, but then they're not going to like you, because it's all about whether or not they like you. Oh, but they're not going to like you because then it's just fun and games. You're just a bicycle rider, fun and games. And it's like, so then you have to make up a way to, I guess, prove that it's not fun and games. And so that's where I came up with the idea that where you can justify being an athlete by, and my father was never an athlete, so that's the other thing. Somebody who's just a drunk and doesn't do anything, never rode his bike 2 blocks over to the store. Why would you? Don't let them tell you not to be an athlete. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. So and my mother either. She's, yeah, my mother, she's like Asperger-y, dude. Like, she was backing up her car. This drove me up the goddamn wall, dude. She's backing up the car, and I'm doing this. Like, turn it this way. And I'm like, and she's like, huh? And I'm like, she knew it, and she goes, huh? She didn't know what I meant. And then when she finally turned it, she turned it the wrong way, and I'm like, when I got in the car, I had to explain to her what this means and what direction it means. And she's like, oh, I just didn't know. It's like, bitch, once I asked her what direction north was, and she got angry with me. Like, women aren't supposed to know which direction north is. The fucking mountains are on the west. I did that with my wife, too, in Chile. Same exact thing. I said, hey, which direction's north? Fuck you, I'm not supposed to know that kind of stuff. Whoa, okay. Yeah, so... yeah, so you listen to audiobooks, right? So if you listen to an audiobook and then you do your biweekly history test every 2 weeks, and you do book reviews from the books you listen to while you're exercising, that gives you the license, that gives you the permission to exercise. So anyways, that kind of threw me off, and then I just got suicidal and was like, fuck it, let's just work myself to death just so I can get the website going, until my computer broke and I had to stop. But I was going to stop anyway after I got AI, ChatGTP to... Well, I actually already did it. It's already built it. I was going to copy the pages that it built onto my website. I mean, the menus for all the different books. So, let me... I don't know how long this video was so far. But what I'm going to do at this point... It doesn't say, these stupid video cameras. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to list all the things on my website. You can watch it if you watch it or not watch it if you don't want to watch it. So yeah, I have every single history book on my website in its entirety. From the beginning of history all the way until the end of like the Roman Empire, which stretches maybe until like to Bede maybe. Bede was like 600, and then you had Gregory the Great, which was like late 600s, and then everything died out. You went into the Dark Ages and there was nothing until the Renaissance, until Thomas Aquinas was basically the first. He made a really big book, 3,000 pages, called Summa Theologica, that I'm reading now. I have like 9 hours left or something. And yeah, and then there was like another 100 years, and then they got going with the Enlightenment, and I have all of those books on my site too in their entirety. And the project that I was working on right before I had to quit was I had ChatGTP condense all the books into chapters, and then multiple chapters. So if the chapters were big, I'd break them down into segments. So the Mahabharata has six different sizes. So I have the Mahabharata in 6 different versions of 6 different sizes that I did with ChatGTP, but it's not up on the internet yet. The only one that I actually put up there was I can't even remember the book anymore, but it was only 1.5 times smaller on the first one because I made a mistake. I did a word count, but the word count wrong somehow, and I trusted it and whatever. But 1.5, whatever, that still goes down some. But the other one, they're usually like 5 to 10 times smaller, which holds true to the formula of, can't remember what they call it, learning technique. So that's one project that I have, and then once I get all those menus up, it'll be whoa. I'm really looking forward to that because it makes it so much easier to learn a book when you can hear the entire book all in a condensed, because then you can know what's in there. And yeah, I also have every single book. So that's one project. Let's see if I can count. That's a project in itself worthy of a website and donation money. I don't get donation money because people don't click. People are retarded. Yet I'm the one who's proclaimed to be retarded. I got kicked out of college, Fort Loser College in Durango. I will, whenever I get around to it, because I'm behind on everything, and I've also been blowing too much money, whenever I get around to it and have the money, I'm going to order my transcripts from that piece of shit school, and I'll link them on my website, and I'm going to put my transcripts at the piece of shit school on all of their videos. I'm going to comment on all of their videos and put my transcript and explain the dangers of going to a shitty-ass school like that. Because I got like more D's at that school than I got A's. Way more D's. I got like 5 times more D's than A's in that school. I got like 1 A, and I got like a half dozen D's for no reason. I mean, these are classes I should have gotten an A in every one. I'm a straight A student. I show up every day on time. I do all the homework on time, and I do it all perfectly, yet I get the D in the class. So yeah, I got kicked out because I got a D in a class, even though the official rule is that you need a GPA of 2.5 or above. I had my whole bicycling I decided to try to be a biker in the last semester, and that got totally ruined. I had to completely quit riding because I was at 2.5 exactly, and I was afraid I was going to be at lower than 2.5, and I have to be at 2.5 to do the student teaching. But they didn't let me do the student teaching anyway, because they lied and said the lady didn't want me at the last minute. So then I went traveling for 2 years and came back, and they said they weren't going to place me because I went traveling. But I went traveling because I had to, because they didn't let me do it at the last minute. But the other reason was that I got the D- in the class, but that's not even an official reason. The official rule was that your GPA has to be below 2.5, and they didn't even tell me that I had a grade. He said, I gave you a grade, but it's not good. I was like, all right, fine. Because he wanted me to put a title on another title of this page I did, this idiot named Joe Lounge, and it made no sense. He was illiterate. And then the fucking idiot got fired a couple years later, and now he's like, he leads like, because I researched him, he leads like nature walks in Durango. So you get kicked out of school by idiots who don't even know how to fucking read at Fort Loser College. It's all ridiculous, man. And then you have all of for an English degree, because I wanted to write. I wanted to be I said, is there politics? And the bitch is like, this is a liberal arts school, like refusing to talk to me. The advisor bitch, Dorian Yates. And I said, is there politics? Oh yeah, that's what she said. And then I was like, well, there's build your own major. Because that's what they said when the person came to high school to recruit idiots to go there. She goes, no, I don't believe in that. They only want to take the easy classes at this school. So she actually told me I was a moron who only wanted to take easy classes because they're morons at the school. And I was like, so she made her own rule. They just make up as they go along. And that caused me to not be out until for 5 years and 2 summer courses, because I took all these classes I didn't have to take because this bitch didn't tell me. Because they tell you that the advisor keeps you from taking classes that you don't supposed to take and help you, direct you. No, they don't. They don't care. They try to stick you there longer so that the school can get more money. Maybe they get a bonus out of it or something. And I majored in English when I should have majored in like a mixture between philosophy, just whatever, so I can graduate, because I wasn't able to take any classes. You know, I tried to take summer class twice, but they only offer 1 class because I had to be in English. Then you try to fill up your schedule, but oh, you're English. You can't. And then when you make the final, it was for education. That's why I had to have the 2.5. And then for that, it had to be just for English, so that there was no subject I could choose. It had to be like English, like learning English. And so, yeah, that's what she meant was, because what I chose English, I was like, well, I want to write. I want to be a writer. She's like, well, then if you want to learn how to write, you have to major in English. So the bitch, because this started for Indians, Native Americans, to teach them how to read and write. So she just interpreted me as not knowing how to read and write. So then all the classes I took, that's why I want to show my transcripts. Because all the classes I took was like learning how to write classes. So I didn't even learn anything. They just made me lick butthole, sit there. And of course you can't switch your major, right? Because there are stupid rules that they have. And you can't choose your major until you're in the second year. They just make all these rules to just fuck you. And, you know, and of course I wouldn't have been so easy to manipulate and steer, but my parents told me to just stay in no matter what and not complain, because it's like, I mean, I would have dropped out. And then these pieces of shit, if you go to their website, they say it has like a 90%, 95% graduation rate, which is there's another lie right through the teeth. Everybody knew after the first semester, half the students leave after the first semester. And of course, idiot places like that, they always try to blame it on the students being retarded. That's what you get. And then they tell you, Oh, 30%, I was told in the education department, 30% of Americans didn't know how to read, like even read like a book. And so that's why we had to be in school to learn how to read and shit, which is bullshit. More than 30% of Americans, that's impossible, know how to read. So it's just, that was a whole generation ago, so sure, they're a little bit smarter now, but if the system still exists, they're still retards, and they're still doing it the same way. So, yeah, whenever I get around to it, I'm going to do that. But, but see, that's why now I have this website, and nobody... See, I got $20 from Donovan 5 years ago. I don't get donation money. And I also... Anybody who knows me refuses to talk to me because I don't get no donation money, because they only know how to judge you based on how much money you make. So even people who know me, friends and family, don't even talk to me about my website or even go to my website, which then creates this holding pattern of awkwardness, which then blows up eventually into we're enemies and we're never going to speak. So now I'm at enemies, never going to speak with anybody ever again, because people don't donate to my website, and that must be my fault, not the people with the money who won't donate to the website. So this world is fucking crazy. So anyways, that's one project, every single book, which means, and the reason that I built that, it's the only place in the world that exists, because every other place online where you're going to find a book, it's like each chapter is a different page. And so there's no way to highlight and just have the whole thing read to you. After about an hour, the computer starts to garble, but you probably don't want to listen to it for more than an hour anyway. And so whenever... Is this fucking guy smoking a goddamn cigarette? I have a guy who lives... God damn it, man. Fucking motherfucker. So then I have this, I have to wake up. One thing that wakes me up every morning is bugs always land on me, which tickles me. They fly around me and land on me all the time. Maybe from all these plants and like ferret shit everywhere. But also my neighbor below me smokes these really nasty, I don't know what the hell kind of cigarettes it is, but the smoke goes right in my room or right in my apartment. Like I can still smell it now. Anyways, I have marijuana growing in my closet there, my hallway closet, and I like it because it kind of helps with the smell of the house, contributing to the smell with all the plants and the birds and the ferrets. But anyway, yeah. So I have the menu. The entire book, and then the menu. So you can click from the menu to the bigger menu, or listen to the smaller versions and the bigger. And so if you ever hear a word that you like or something that's interesting in the book, you can find it. It's like it's the best way to find a location in a book to reference. Because you always remember stuff that happens in a book, and then you want to prove that it's written. Like that's the whole point. Not say, oh yeah, I heard so and so in the book, because then you could just say that about anything. You go, hey, I heard so and so in the book, and then you can actually show it to the person, And the only way to do that is by doing a Control F word count. But the only way a Control F word count works is if the entire book is on one page, right? You don't want to do Control F on like 100 different pages. You do it on the book, and then boom, and then it shows you how many times a word is mentioned in the book. There's a gazillion different benefits to having the entire book on one page. So, and then I have it color coded to help memorize how it's structured. So that's one project. All of the books in History of Mankind, worth nothing. Nobody cares. And it also will leave you without any friends or family. And then the next project is I have every single book that is that you can get for free on Kindle or LibriVox. And LibriVox is where people read books for you, and most of them, they read well enough. When you have humans read it to you, and then The Kindle is where the Kindle can read it to you. So these are all Audible books, basically all the Audible books that you can get your hands on for free. And it's important that any random person can get their hands on any of this for free because you have to have any one of those books accessible to you at any moment. Because the idea is that you never know in the morning what book you're going to listen to, because it all depends on what mood you're in. That's another problem with traditional school is if they decide what you're going to study when you're going to study, then the only people who can survive school are the brainwashed zombie people who just like to be led around and don't have any opinions. It's the exact opposite of this piece of shit Dorian Yates said to me. You have no interests, and so you can't be trusted to choose an intellectual class. It's like, no, the more intellectual you are, the more interests you are, therefore you should be trusted to choose what you're going to study instead of just be like, I don't care, just show me. So, and I think I told my parents, I was like, this bitch fucking, and they were like, oh no, don't make him mad, because I remember my parents always telling me, don't make him mad. No, you have to fit in. Don't be a loose wire. That was this comment, loose wire. So they would always just side with the teacher, no matter how crazy whatever they said. Because my dad, like I said, was born in 1928. And my mom is brainwashed. They only, like, their thing is, like, do what makes people like you. So my mom's always like, smile more and they'll like you. It's like, why do you need people to like you? So that you get hired at the job. Oh my God. Yeah, like the last thing that my father ever said to me was, they'll never hire you. Or nobody will hire you. I actually have it written on my wall in my room. There's two things that I remember my father saying to me. And I had a good relationship while he was alive, but like when I die, if I ever see him, I'd like fucking kill him. Like we're enemies forever. And because of that. He said, don't race next year, but he said it like a demand when I was 17. So I actually have that written up on my wall. That's the one thing I remember him ever saying to me, don't race next year. And that was when I was 17, and I listened to him when I was 13 too. But then the last thing he ever said to me was, nobody will hire you, because I said, because I was going to get like $30,000 of insurance money when he died, because he had that life insurance. I was like, yeah, I want to go on a bike tour, ride my bike around the world. And he had pancreatic cancer and was laying in bed, and he was only sick for like a week or something, so it was like 4 months before he died, so he was still lucid. It wasn't like he was crazy. But, like, you know how they say you can tell that you don't know the true character of a person until they're in a certain situation, like a pressured situation? Sometimes, and they say when narcissists, I don't know, my father was a narcissist or not, but he was an idiot and a loser. But when narcissists die, they get really mad and sad or whatever. Yeah, when my dad found out he was dying at 68, he got really like mad and sad and like didn't take it very well, and like got really mean to the people around him and refused to talk to people. And like at one point, I was taking him to chemotherapy or radiology, and he's like, you have to take me to visit my friend so and so. I heard you don't like him, but I don't care. And like he didn't even want to talk to me about it. He heard from like my mom or something, so I was like, whatever, dude. I didn't even say anything to him. But then he didn't. I remember thinking to myself, if he asked me to take him there, I'm not going to do it. But he never asked me, so he just wanted to like bitch at me. So anyway, I went in and I tried to have like the talk. I tried to talk to him. And I was like, yeah, I want to ride my bike and go bike touring. And he just freaked out. He starts yelling at me, never, don't do it. And I was like, why? He goes, nobody will hire you. And I go, why? He goes, don't ask me questions. Don't ask me any questions. Get out of here. So I left, and that was the last time I talked to him. I took him to bunch of chemos after that, but we didn't speak to each other. We didn't speak a word. And I bought him his little
like the whatever those nutrition drinks are that you give to people dying of pancreatic cancer because they can't eat food. I would buy him those and stuff, but I couldn't stay in the room with him for more than 5 seconds, and I couldn't look at him or talk to him because it was like he disgusted me, and he didn't like me either. He kept yelling at me that my breath was horrible and to get the hell out of there. So that's basically, I don't know what his problem was, but yeah, his personality, a really ugly person came out when he just found out he was dying. But anyway, so the second project, number 2 project on my website, which nobody cares about, which I've never had any donation money. Like I could, if I did a video like, oh my God, I'm about to run out of money, nobody will hire me, I'm gonna lose my house. People will be like, ha ha, that's what you get for having a website. Yeah, I have all the Kindle and the LibriVox books, and I have their contents. I have them all on different categories in different countries that value having them, and or that have enough to to warrant having a page. And I have the contents of all the books that you could read on LibriVox, but I have all of the chapters of those books and all of the information about all the chapters, how long they are, how long the books are, how long it takes to get through. So you can do a right click and listen through the entire page, and then the innards of all the different books. You can get on LibriVox or get Kindle, so you know what there is. So you always know what you want to listen to, because you know what there is. And so you can just dance around and only stay hooked on things that gather your fancy, capture your fancy. So, and it has all the information, like how many hours, pages. It's not totally polished yet because I think I added some books since then. But I mean, it is polished. It's done, but I don't know if it's all accurate. But it's close though. But yeah, so all the collection, how many pages in time and everything. So that's the second project. Ugh. Third project that I can think of off the top of my head, my timeline. I have a timeline of everything that ever happened in the history of the world, of the planet, the history of the universe. I have ancient timeline from the beginning of the universe, 15 billion years ago, and then different time segments. So when you go across the page, they take different amounts of time, so you're going down exponentially. It's like, the power of 10 when you zoom in and it gets bigger. Well, I did that with time. So I have the ancient history, BC, 80, and then future, but then I have a couple of other BCs for different time dimensions. I have like 500 year across and a 2,500 year across. And then I have, in 20th century, I have 1900 to 1950 across in one, and then 1950 to 2000 across in one. And that's all color coded, and it has the regular horizontal timeline that people are used to, but it's also vertical. So you click on the horizontal, and then it takes you to the vertical, which actually lists and explains everything. And condensed, not explains, but it's all with acronyms. And so, like for the 20th century, for World War II, I have every single battle. Like I have every single thing that ever happened. Like anything that's on a Wikipedia, has a Wikipedia article, is on my website. And and you can link to the Wikipedia if you just right click and hit search. It's a feature that computers have, but for like World War II, I have every single battle that happened in World War II, but I have them all condensed down to a little box that has so I have every single information of every battle that ever happened. So the little box would have who won, who lost, how many people died on the winner's side, how many people died on the loser's side, and then how much armament people started with, how much they lost on both sides, and then underneath and its own color coded, because you have it not only color coded and font coded, but also border coded. So the borders mean different things. So then a little border inside underneath with the treaty, and that resulted from like that war. Or yeah, so I have wars and battles and yeah, everything. And then also with icons for everything on them. Then if you click on the icons, they take you to like the Google Earth, because I made Google Earth of all of them too. Yeah, so that's 3 projects. Each one of those merit their own website. Nobody cares about it but me. And then the 4th project, let's say Google Earth, which is every single city from history is on my website on Google Earth that you can download, including all of the different walls as they grew. So if some of them have 3, some have 4, most have 1 or 2. And so I looked at the wall and I traced the wall so you know exactly how big it was and what shape it is. And I even built a 3D wall. And for France, for 65 of the cities, of the towns that they had, I have 65 tribes, but like a little more than that cities. But I zoomed in and did like down to the height of the observation deck of the Empire State Building, and then did a 360. But I think somehow I lost that. I like deleted it. Freaking idiot. But because I could do YouTube videos with that for all the different tribes from the Celtic. And then, but yeah, all the different tribes also. So all the cities and all the tribes that ever existed anywhere in the world. And even broken down in places that had tiny tribes, like Sardinia had like 38 different tribes on there, even though it's tiny. So like little valleys. They even identified them to like a valley as a new group of people, a new tribe that they identified. So it's fascinating to check that stuff out and think about it. I'm gonna have to do some food pretty soon, but every battle that ever existed, the location, which I will then superimpose the actual battle, like the actual formation, how big the battle was, like the maniples and the everything. So you can zoom in and out, and then the progression of every battle. This is like in the future, way in the future. But I already have, to this day, right now, I already have the image from Wikipedia superimposed on its right side. So I already have it, the actual battle, what it looks like, just not built up like 3D on Google Earth. Yeah, and then every battle, it's like a separate battle file, every battle of Roman Empire. All of this is why I'd get 0 donation money on my website. It's like, because people are afraid of, because the whole concept of the website is to condense the text so you can read the whole thing. So you don't have to, so the thing that limits you is your ability to read, not the website having to scroll up and down. Look at the CIA World Factbook page and look at my World Factbook page for America, and you'll see the difference between me and how the CIA thinks Americans think. Because they use words that are this big. It's like insulting. Like literally this big. Big black words that are that big. So if you want to read America, you have to scroll down like 100 pages worth just to read it. So you basically, it's almost useless compared to my site. So yeah, I did. So in Google Earth, I also rebuilt Rome, the city of Rome, to all the way down to the room and even the furniture. Every single building, pretty much done. And then I made the screen captures of it all, of the whole city. So I can make YouTube now out of that, which I will pretty soon. And then I'm going to build Rome actually as it was every single year for its entirety existence, because it grew and shrunk. It's a representation, I think, of civilization growing and dying. Because they called it the Eternal City, but it wasn't. If we rebuild it, it can be. I rebuilt Atlantis in its exact location all the way down to the building. Using real historical buildings to give time perspective. I rebuilt Boulder, Boulder, Colorado, and three different historical time zones, time periods. It's 1868, 71, 78, 1888, 1898, 1915, and then Caribou as well, with to the exact person. So because you know the population, I think it was 10,000 people, and then all of the different mines in Boulder County, all the different mining towns in Boulder County, and the roads that existed, and the trains, and then I did the Roman, not just the city of Rome, but the Roman kingdom, every single town, all on Google Earth, to their size, looking at how big their walls would be. And then I rebuilt Rome itself, like the entire kingdom, covering it over with land. So when you look at it, it looks like it did then. Like there's no buildings, but I kept all of the tracks and the soccer field, so you can know the perspective of size. And I rebuilt it with all the different rivers that used to exist at the time. So I rebuilt the whole world. And then I rebuilt all the different farms that existed and how big they are around the actual city of Rome and the city of Rome. Because I built the city of Rome not just in the year 215, but when Severus, but I built the city of Rome, Romulan Rome, the entire city of Romulan Rome, to the building, and did screen captures of it. Oh my God, this is getting me fired up to do YouTube videos of it, man. Because all I have to do is hit record, man, and then I have the video. I hit play on Google Earth and I hit screen capture record on the computer, and it goes, and then I can just upload that. I was gonna do it later when I had it. Yeah, you know, maybe like do it with proper background music and, you know, do high quality. That's why I kind of procrastinated, but yeah, that's one of the things I want to do sooner rather than later. But not only for the city of Romulan Rome, but the kingdom. So all the different farms, the exact farm sizes, and the roads around it. And then that's what I have a bit written already. Yeah, and then all the different tribes around it, the size of the tribes with their capital cities around the whole area. And then I did all of the different roads in ancient Italy and the kingdom of, and it's actually not for download now, though. I have to re-access it because my computer's not strong enough to open the file. It's 2.12 gigabytes. I saved it in its own file, but it got lost, so I have to dig it up. But it's every single Roman road in Italy made with the polygon tool. So with the exact accurate width, so you can zoom in and out and see the perspective of how big it is. And you know, see how it looks like a road as you go down. So you can make videos, not just with the line, because that kind of takes you out of it, I think. So it took longer because I had to do it twice. But every single road that existed then, only you know, not over the exact line of the road, but traced over where the road would be at the closest place you could ride a bike. So for bike touring, not over the highways, but over like the back roads where the ancient roads were. So you can bike tour over ancient Italy. And then I have all of the different Italian towns too. Like there were like 3,000 or something. So that the roads go to all the different towns. And what's my mom? Check in when you get up. Let's make a plan for Monday. You don't need a plan. She just comes over. Yeah, so so then they lead to all the different towns, so you can travel to all the different towns and pretend you're in ancient Rome. I also have all of the every single boat that and then the location that it was when it sunk, and I made them 3D and the size and everything and the mass. When they had their naval disaster off the coast of northwest Sicily. And I think there was another disaster they had, but I didn't build it. Yeah, and kind of like if you're making a movie, you know, like I could make a movie out of all this stuff, zooming in and out and showing the perspective of how big it looks compared to each other, I Google Earthed, yeah. So that's my Google Earth. Oh, and then I Google Earth cycling. I Google Earthed. I built Rome on top of Boulder. So every single tribe that existed in the time of ancient Rome is now created here in Colorado, so that you can study history here, and then ride your bike around and pretend you're in Rome, because everything's the same size and situated right. And I rebuilt Rome on top of Boulder. So and all of the different. I turned Boulder County into Kingdom of Rome because they're the same size, and all of the Roman, the Colorado mining towns. It's about the same number as Latin League towns that there were. So it's the same size, and so that means there's the same number, so they're the same different distance apart. So it's pretty cool. And Boulder has got a lot of similarities with Rome. I built the aqueducts, all the different aqueducts here in Boulder that existed in Rome, and I built the aqueducts in Rome as well. The exact aqueducts, exactly how they looked in 3D, which I'll make YouTube videos out of. But you can download it now and look at it. And I even made movies out of all the Google Earth that I did. So all I have to do is hit record and it plays. So you could hit record and it plays. So it's kind of like YouTube already. All you have to do is download the files, and then you can get YouTube right now just with Google Earth. You can just watch it, watch the videos. Yeah, and then I did tours also of inside the buildings of ancient Rome, all the different baths and stuff. But I also built Atlantis, the city of Atlantis, but I also built the island, the entire island of Atlantis, which nobody cares about. Because I found the exact real island, the real Atlantis, and the real Temple of Poseidon. So I built it on the top of the real location. With the detailed part, I didn't build on top of the real location because I didn't know where it was when I built it, and then I saw it after. So, but I show where the real one is with just a screen capture of the image of it. Then the place where I built it was right next to where the real one is. It's like 20 kilometers away. But because I guessed really close to where it would be. Because I remember seeing seeing it before. I just couldn't find it again when I built it. But yeah, and then I built the Exceed 4000 because I built Future Atlantis. You know, like Rome, the Eternal City, rebuild Rome like it's still the Eternal City. Well, same thing with Atlantis. Pretend Atlantis never fell, and then it evolved into the future technology, and so they built the Exceed 4000 building. And then I want to build a bunch of those around, and design a world that I can make a movie out of, where you travel between them in gliders and wingsuits that get drug up to the top with solar power, and then even designed a like a water catchment system with balloons that go and bring the water in and on a spiral river that goes around and then falls in the middle down on top of it, and then there's New York inside. It's awesome. And then you can watch the city and the Super Bowl and stuff from your actual house from inside just through binoculars, and even jump out of your house and base jump to get back into the city. I think it's the perfect design for a city. Yeah, it has like a spiral river that goes out in the road, and so you can ride from the center to the outside without even ever stopping, just on a spiral road. And then it goes through a forest toward the end that you ride through. And anyways, of redwood. Anyway, so that's what I did on Google Earth that I can remember. So that's like my fourth project that nobody cares about. See, I have proof that people actually don't care. And that you'll just make enemies with everybody if you build things that everybody knows, because there's some kind of allergy that people have to actual knowledge. So then the fifth project that I can think of off the top of my head, but with the Google Earth, I also have cycling. So I have all the different distances of bike races and time trials with all the different people where they are, and also for triathlon, for running, swimming, and cycling. In the here local in the river in the lake, but also at Atlantis with the cycling for the Ironman when they go around. I made a course that they go and they show everybody where they are, and the 115-mile ride, and around Atlantis to give you perspective of the size of it and what it would look like if it was an actual race. And also, you can compare it. Like if you're trying to get better as an athlete, you can like be like, oh, I'm not that person. I'm at that person. So, also for the shorter distances too, I built them inside of the Circus Maximus that they have there. And then in the Roman Circus Maximus, I did all the different bike races too, because they did chariot racing. So I switched it to bike racing with all the different distances, with real life time trials and real life from my website, from speeds that people do from all the different distances, as though they were racing around the Circus Maximus and where they would be. So I'll turn that into a YouTube video too. This is all for eventually turning into a YouTube video. And that's when it'll get interesting and I'll get like hits and stuff. But so I did that for all of Boulder and all of the different time trials around Boulder as well, because I was going to superimpose them on top of Boulder Rome, so that when you ride your bike around Boulder Rome, and pretend you're in Boulder Rome, but also racing people in the real life here. So it's just superimposing everything on top of each other to help understand it. So that's 4. So then let's see, 5 would be, I have the CIA World Factbook page. That's condensed down to 5 columns across, color coded with all the different sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 having their own different color. And then I have them also font coded and color coded from when you get reduced. So ones that are inside of others, the font changes smaller and the color changes to the different color of the number, but also the color and the size of the border, and for everything that I have. CIA World Factbook page. What was that, 5? I only have America done so far, and the first part of Britain though, because it's time consuming. So that's one of the ones that's not totally done, but America is done, so you can look at that. The reason that I did the CIA World Factbook page all condensed like that is because you can compare different countries really quickly, real easily, because they all have the same format, and you don't have to like scroll up and down. So that when that's done, it'll be really cool. But then I have Power of 10 from Electron all the way to Universe, and we're basically like in the middle, which is cool. So I have the images of all that. There's the 6th project. That's its own that could be its own website. Number 7, I have oh my god, I can't. I'm starting to have trouble thinking off the top of my head. Maybe I should just go to my website. That's only like less than half. That's only like scratching the surface. Maybe I should go, because I could get to my website pretty quick. I have my website open in all of these different, and then I have on my timeline, I have images which then of little icons of everything, of like what it looked like, and then if you click on it, it makes it bigger on Flickr. I skimmed it off of like the University of Colorado YouTube video, where I did a screen capture, and I let them know, I asked them if I could do it, and they reported me without answering me. They just reported me to Flickr, and then Flickr emailed me the very next day, like, turns out you have stolen stuff. And I wrote them back, and I'm like, look, all I did was ask permission from the University of Colorado from screen captures from a YouTube video. Like, this is all public anyway, and then I put it on my Flickr. That's all I did, dude. And so they didn't delete it, but yeah, so yeah, now people want to be my enemy because of my website. Like, they're angry. They're angry with the design. I think that's retarded, and I'm a piece of shit for making the website. It's weird, man. Doesn't make any sense. And nobody to this day has ever acknowledged I have a website other than my mom, But she only does it when I like force her to, and then she gets angry. I know about it. So I explained the design of it on the front page. So yeah, timeline, classic books, free audio history books, CIA World Fact Book, aliens, right? My aliens, I have New Age, which, and this is just, this is actually one of the first ones that I built, so it's kind of the least developed. I like didn't finish it, and then I moved on, so I have to get back there and kind of tinker with it. But yeah, I like New Age stuff. So I have ascension, ascension tolerance, vegetarianism, chakras, astrology, science experiments proving God, heroes of the New Age, and enemies of the New Age. Heroes, I think I would be like the disclosure people, alien disclosure people. But a lot of those people are just like Stephen Greer. They're kind of creepy. He's like an ego guy. But anyway, sacred geometry with sacred geometry, art, shapes, types of shapes, about nature. Disclosure and channelers, introduction, contactees, channelers, disclosure project. Aliens and history books. All of the different books that mention it, I have it condensed and linked to them, and I can also link to the actual books. And in one feature of my books, actually, my history books, is that they link between each other. So if you look at my Montesquieu book, at the top there's a special menu that has all of its references, all of his references to all the other writers, only a link to it. So you click on it and it takes you to that writing on the page. Yeah, and I'm eventually going to do that with all of the books. See, this is why I need donation money from people, so I can afford all this stuff. I'm like $30,000 in debt or something, and then I owe like all this other money on top of that I don't know how to pay. Don't know if I'm going to pay. Well, I mean, the IRS says I owe $2,700. I have to fix that. Then I have an assessment $3,000. And I don't own a mountain bike that's under 35 years old, and I need money, so that's why I think I just. And as long as this is seen as not a job, as not something that a billionaire should help me out with, it's just going to eventually make these millionaires. I mean, it'll convince normal people that you can't trust the millionaires to have all the money, because the billionaires think that they need to have all the money and need to get richer and richer, so that they can use their money to hire people. Because if they didn't have money to hire people, then how could the economy possibly exist? Because there's no billionaires to hire people. But that's actually not how it works. When the billionaires make all the money in the world, what they do is they buy Bugattis, private planes, travel all over the place, have 10 kids each, and none of them know how to work or ever want to work, and then they have 10 kids, but they need tons of money because they don't work and their kids don't work. And none of these billionaires give people like me a dime because they're just too dang broke. They have to use their money to hire people. So it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, dude. We need to tax the billionaires, and so that there are no billionaires, so that I could get people like me don't have to like lose their houses and like not be able to get a job as a toilet cleaner because I don't have enough work experience because my website isn't seen as work. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, just because it's just so different. So I have crop circles and then megaliths. So that's the aliens. But then, yeah, and I have Google Earth. I have it all broken down and linked right on my website. All you have to do is go there. Nobody does. 6,300 people went there and since 20, and only 862 have been to my education. So they don't understand that there's links. And if you go to other people's websites, yeah, they don't have links. They think they have a website just because they have a front page. So, oh yeah, and then let's see, more education. Oops. Just a sec. No. So this stuff for myself. I have lists of everything. So scientific lists. Every single scientific thing, every single thing that exists, I have on my website all on one page, and then broken up into different sections. So like I have every single insect, every single mammal, every single this, that, and the next thing, with an icon next to it signifying that you can click it, and then you get the you would get an audio Google Earth of that. I used to have it, and it was linked and everything. It was all on my website. You click it and you hear the audio. But it was so many gigabytes, and it was within the 20 gigabytes of this server I used to have a while ago. But they deleted all of it because they said that I didn't actually have those gigabytes. It was like saved between a bunch of people. They just lied to me. And then I somehow lost the mother load somehow. I don't know how. So I would have to redo that. But it's fine because what I had then, it was like old, like it was like robot voice back in those days. And so anyways, but it also works as a list because you can use it as a test. You can actually to grade yourself as a test. Like, how many insects are there? Well, let's see what I can name. And then you name them, and then you see how many you got right, and you actually write it down. Or you could use it as cue cards. Like, which are they? Okay, you look at this, or just to look at it. All the lists, all condensed. Yeah, I need to get in the habit of looking on my website. I spend all this time building it, but not actually reading it. Because for me, it's a little bit difficult because, there's so many boo-boos that I would only pay attention to the boo-boo, get frustrated, and try to fix it. So, but from now on, when I look at it, it's the boo-boos aren't that big of a deal. I can still benefit from the site. So just ignore those and fix them whenever, and then just learn from the site. So I'm going to do that with my timeline so I can do well with my timeline test. I might retake it because my computer somehow stopped recording after 33 minutes. So anyway, that's what at least I have religions, every religion in the world. But that actually got lost. That was a bummer. I was like 3 weeks worth of work, and then it just disappeared off my site. But I had all of them broken down, like in the same language, so you can compare them all the different qualities of them. But anyway, I have a religious statistics, all the different statistics of all the different religions, like what they believe and everything, all their different beliefs broken down and condensed down. That's a cool page. And then English teaching section, when I was teaching English, with vocabulary lists and all the different lesson plans from beginning, intermediate, and advanced. And then I have a links page. Power of 10, land area dimensions. I have a page that shows land area dimensions. It's like showing like the psychology and just the different qualities and of every different of these from everything from like smallest to largest. So like your room, your bed, your room, your house, your city, what a normal city would be, what a kingdom would be, what a republic would be, what a modern country would be, all of that. Yeah, that's kind of one that's in progress. And then I have a world population page. Population page, world population page. Yeah, I have to relook at that. But then I have a health page with the aromatherapy page that has all the different essential oils and all the qualities of them. A nutrition page that's not done that I got from this nutrition book, but it just categorizes everything. Thai massage page, it shows all the different Thai massage moves because I studied that. Ancient Asian medicine, this is just something that I had. But then there's, let's see, my stuff. Bike school, so that would be the explanation of how you use it all together to make bike school. Boulder Rome, building Rome on Boulder. Bi-weekly history test, explaining that, and then creating the links to get to all of the different Wikipedia pages to study it, and even all of the different decades within the Wikipedia pages to study it. And also use it in conjunction with taking the test, if you want, which I don't. But yeah, so it's for studying. And then generations. I have a generations page where I show, it's part of my timeline. I show all the different generations and how they overlap and color coded. And then a spiral dynamics. I think they're both on the same page because it shows how the generations change and evolve with spiral dynamics on that, that's one of the less developed ones. But then YouTube. Oh, and I also have all of my YouTube videos listed on my channel. A lot of them got deleted since then, but yeah, and then a lot of them, since then I haven't put up here. But I have them for linking. And anyway, that's all I can think of that I have. Yeah, so um, yeah, man, my eyesight's getting all messed up. They said, I remember when I was like 35 or 30, they said, when you turn 50, you won't be able to read anymore. I'm like, really? I can still read, but I can't read really small print. I can read that fine, but not the super small. But yeah, the cool thing about my website is it works great with a phone. Like, because you just double tap and it brings it all the way up to the proper size. And the computer does the same thing. So you don't need a separate app for it. Yeah, world population one, and Hot Wheels collection quarter miles. Ha! Yeah, that's a page on my website now too. Ha! I have five. Is it five? No, I have six cases that hold like 55 cars each, 350 cars or something. On my Hot Wheels that I'm gonna in my bathroom that I'm going to fill them up because I had them filled up before, but they have to be all real cars now. Some of them they weren't the real ones because you have to know the quarter mile time and not just fantasy. But I'm gonna eventually have them organized fastest to slowest on it, which is interesting because you'll know kind of like the progression of speeds of cars, and they'll always all be real cars. And then I'm gonna make something YouTube out of it. Because part of my Boulder Roam, that's really developed. You know, I have all of the different aqueducts rebuilt here on Boulder Roam, and they're the same exact distance as the ones on Real Roam. Like the shortest one goes to Gross, and it's the same distance as the real one, and the longest one goes up to up the mountains, the Continental Divide, and that's the same distance as the real one in Rome. So it's all real. But I also have the Great Pyramid of Giza here in Boulder built like to detail, and then I have actually every individual person to 160,000 people, 3D. This was like the longest project, crazy, but I finished it. 160,000 people, 3D, standing up at 6 feet tall, 2 meters tall. So you can fly over them, and make YouTube videos, flying over them, and then creating different like armies out of them and wars, because I want to make every single war that Rome ever had, and different populations of people from that, just by cutting out bits, and then you have the exact, and then you can do flyovers. So yeah, it's a great way to imagine 160,000 people and all the different colors of people and numbers of people, because they're different colors based on the different numbers from the center coming out. And then, but I'll have the cars on the outside doing the show where they would be in the quarter mile in comparison to each other, just like with the bike racers. Yeah, so that's it. That's an interesting thing. I think cars are a big part of our history, and then to know how they get faster. And anyway, yeah. So that was, holy shit, was that a time-consuming project? The 160,000 people. You should look at that. Yeah, because the possibilities for what you can build off that in the future are immense. Like I'm going to build a building in the future that goes up really high and can have every single generation that ever existed, and each generation is at a different level of the building, or occupies different levels, and so you can see how different generations have different numbers of people. And it's like imagining housing, like if they all die and then you would house them in like the mausoleum, or house them in the afterlife apartment where they all live together. Like that's the entire generation. That's everybody. And so you can see all the different generations compared to each other, and see how the population of the world grows, and so you can consider that, and it help you conceptualize how different generations had different personalities, and how their personalities and the way that they thought the same, was a result of how there were not even that many people. But then and you conceptualize different things, like there's not that many people, but they're not even communicating with each other because they're so far apart and all that kind of stuff. But then I was going to build a fight mountain of all these different fight levels that you go up with the little based on the level that I make from when I kick and punch on this from actual measured. So anyways, this battery is about to die. So that was like my kind of rundown of my useless website. No, I'm not complaining. I'm not being sarcastic. My website is, I never explained it, you know? Like if you want to be the best you can be, you want to be physically fit, and I have to like rebuild myself into physical fitness because I fucking went crazy and worked on this website. And then I didn't even really exercise that much because I was like the forbidden activity in the family. And then in college I didn't because I was told not to. And then I had to bake my head against the wall trying to not get kicked out of school by just studying all the time so I could get a 2.5 GPA. Fucking idiots. Yeah, so don't go to college. That's why I redesign education on the website, so you don't have to do that bullshit or spend all that money. You know, it's to save money. We need to cut our overhead. You know, we invent these machines that make life easier, but then we then make it life hard again by creating all these different hoops you have to jump through and costs that you have to pay. You know, but then they're like, oh no, but it's for the jobs. So it's like we have to streamline. You know, only have jobs that are actually help you, and then give money, and then whenever there's money, use that money to help kickstart new ways of life that would help the economy. So yeah, if you're really rich, you know, you should give me money, for sure. You know, and if you don't, kind of shows that you're not that bright. Because a lot of rich people, they think that they're smart, right? Which causes problems because then they just create this little world in their own. And like you're smart if you know wines and sports cars and like ways to make money with interest rates and investments and venture capitalism. But then, you know, you're so smart that you don't have to know history, you know. And if you know history, you would like, it's only about like pretending, you know. It's like all fucked up. So you can fix it all, but if we all just take the test, you know. And we all do YouTube videos and make the book reviews. You know, it's one thing that's cool is that everybody has a YouTube video now. You know, like all the celebrities are having YouTube videos and talking. Like last night, I was on YouTube and I saw Lewis Black. It was like some comedian. Now he has a YouTube channel, Lewis Black YouTube channel, and he's here babbling about P Diddy for like an hour. You know, well, it's like that's the beginnings of it when celebrities get on YouTube or rich people get on YouTube. You know, all sorts of different kinds of people get on YouTube. And so now they're just talking trash, yapping about each other. But the next level, pretty soon, is when they're on YouTube all talking about history. You know, they're not talking about each other like we're on some high school freaking bunch of fucking junior high girls gossiping about each other. No, we're all up there on YouTube saying what we know about history, being normal people. We're all the same, and we're all trying to talk about history, and then we can compare each other and you know, and like have the cream of the crop and the, you know, the competition of it all, just based on what you know about history, not based on like how good you are of making money with all of the different tricks that they have, or how good you are at talking trash about somebody, or because you know them or something like that. You know, like. So, oh my God. So I was talking for like an hour and fucking 20 minutes. This thing, and the battery's about to die. So that's my video. Maybe I'll chop this up and put it on my main channel and like divide it into all the different sections of talking about my website. It's like a new introduction to the website, or not. So that's my vlog for the day, and that was my one time talking about everything on my website. I do talk about my website a lot, but I never actually listed everything that I could think of that was on there, and I probably missed a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, so. But now that's the back seat. Now I'm just an athlete now, because I aged out. Okay, talk to you tomorrow.